Trading in the Astana International Financial Center Stock Exchange is officially opened. The launching ceremony was attended by President of Kazakhstan Nursultan Nazarbayev. One of the first companies that were publicly traded is a national uranium mining company. Other major companies will also be publicly traded in the future. To date, 88 companies are registered in the AIFC. The number is expected to reach 500 by the end of next year. Shareholders of the exchange include major players such as Shanghai Stock Exchange and the Silk Road Fund.
МФЦА должен стать катализатором привлечения иностранного капитала и вывести фондовый рынок на новый уровень развития.
The Astana Financial Center should become a catalyst that attracts foreign capital. It should take the stock market to a new level of development. Here is the world's best practice as well as the most advanced partners and experts. Unprecedented conditions have been created for participants. There are tax preferences. Kazakh Aviation establishes air communication with other world financial centers. In the future, it will become the main financial hub of the central region. Especially the Silk Road should join the list of the best centers in Asia, promoting Belt and Road Initiative. All Central Asian countries can use services of the Astana Financial Center.
Через наш регион и все страны Центральной Азии могут пользоваться услугами этого центра.
Kazakhstan's peace policy and initiatives towards stability and security are fully supported in the United Nations. In the UN Security Council, Kazakhstan has continued to actively promote non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. During the presidency in January 2018, a landmark high-level thematic briefing was organized on non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction confidence-building measures. The important international event was organized under the chairmanship of President of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev. For the first time, the discussion led to the recognition of the non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction as a key element of a comprehensive conflict prevention strategy. This has affected relevant processes observed in Northeast Asia, particularly on the Korean Peninsula.
I thank the President of Poland.
We should congratulate Kazakhstan for its efforts, because any effort to make the world a safer place, and in particular, especially dealing with nuclear weapons, any element in the chain of production, research, testing that is no longer available makes it less likely for a world in which people fear what might happen.
Entrepreneurship development is key to prosperity of the country's economy. According to the World Bank report, Kazakhstan needs to take measures to increase productivity. Experts say that it is necessary to strengthen the private sector, increase competitiveness of companies, and reduce the role of the state in the economy. The experts cited data according to which Kazakhstan showed impressive economic growth over a long time. Analysts highlighted that this was facilitated by fruitful cooperation with the World Bank. They are sure that now everything depends on activities of the private sector.
One important issue that I would like to address is that it shouldn't be the role either of the World Bank or the government to tell the private sector into what sectors should they move up to in order to allow for greater competitiveness. I think that the most important role that we can see for the government is basically just to allow the private sector to operate efficiently.
In a State of the Nation address, President of Kazakhstan Nursultan Nazarbayev set a goal that the manufacturing industry should become a leading sector of Kazakhstan's economy. Since the beginning of the year, growth in this sector has exceeded 5%. Within 3 years, an additional 500 billion tenge will be invested to support the manufacturing industry and exports. One of the promising projects in this area is the Bakirchik field in eastern Kazakhstan. Its reserves are estimated at 280 tons of gold. This year, a mining plant was built. In August, 1 ton of gold concentrate was obtained and the first batch was exported. The company plans to annually enrich 2 million tons of ore.
Фабрика новейшая, с новейшими технологиями, автоматизированная.
The factory is equipped with latest technologies. Almost all equipment is automated. Everything is automated there, starting from a crushing site to the release of final products.
Выпуском готовой продукции у нас все автоматизировано.
As a result of ore beneficiation at the factory, two types of gold concentrate are obtained with low and high carbon content. The first is delivered to Russia for deep processing. The second is sent to Chinese enterprises. To date, 20,000 tons of concentrate and 1,000 tons have been exported to China and Russia. Within 4 months, we achieved design indicators in terms of both performance and attraction. For the first 10 years, the ore will be mined via open-pit mining. During this time, over 10 tons of gold concentrate will be produced. Underground ore mining will be developed as well. Following that, 8 tons of gold per year will be mined. The share of renewable energy is increasing globally, including in Kazakhstan. The indicators are high, whereby the share of green energy in the country is set to increase to 50% by 2050. There are over 60 renewable energy facilities, including hydroelectric power plants, solar generators, and wind installations. In total, the facilities produce over 400 megawatts. Until the end of 2020, 55 additional green energy facilities will be commissioned in the Republic. An important achievement made was the launch of the second stage of Burnoye Solar Power Plant in Jambil region, which is the largest in Central Asia. Its capacity has doubled.
Выбор данного района для строительства солнечной электростанции.
The area is chosen for the construction of the solar power plant because it is a mountainous area. Due to this fact, we have higher solar activity. This area is constantly windy and it cools our panels, and accordingly, the efficiency of our panels increases. On sunny days, output of one power station reaches up to 330,000 kilowatt hours per day.
30 тысяч киловатт-часов в день.
The project, worth 25 billion tenge, had been implemented in 10 months. 300 local and foreign experts were involved in the construction. In total, the station has 377,000 solar panels with a capacity of 100 megawatts. The station is capable of providing electricity to 70,000 houses. The generated electricity is distributed to 16 inverter stations. Panels of the second project are more powerful with a capacity of 270 watts. The first project's panel is 260 watts. 5 new renewable energy facilities will be opened in Kazakhstan by the end of the year, the location of which are Almaty, the East Kazakhstan region, and the Karaganda region. Meanwhile, 2 other renewable facilities will be built in southern Kazakhstan. The Central Asian countries will develop a unified program for the development of transport communications. This initiative was proposed by Uzbekistan. According to the country's leadership, joint efforts will accelerate integration of the region into a system of international transport corridors and will allow realizing the transport potential. The strategy will help develop common approaches in this area. Moreover, in the region, establishment of a Transport Communications Council is proposed, which will become the coordinating structure in resolving transport and logistics problems in Central Asia. Experts say that all these measures will help the Central Asian countries to increase their competitiveness in the world stage. The region's analytical centers held a detailed discussion in the topic at the first expert forum of Central Asia recently in Tashkent.
Одним из главных вопросов обсуждаемых была практическая реализация.
One of the main topics discussed was practical implementation of ideas that were voiced particularly by President of Uzbekistan Mirziyoyev at the forum in Tashkent on September 21st. This is the implementation of transport and communication initiatives. This initiative is aimed at uniting potentials of our countries and improving throughput of transport arteries, including all types of transport. This will also simplify customs procedures and create transport corridors that all countries can use.
Чтобы упростить таможенные процедуры, создать транспортные коридоры, которыми пользовались бы все страны.
Today, the Central Asia Regional Economic Cooperation Program is actively being implemented. Participants come from 11 countries. The CAREC coordinates investments in road, rail, and other transport and cross-border infrastructures in order to complete 6 multimodal corridors connecting Central Asia and world markets.
В рамках этой инициативы уже большие средства были инвестированы.
As part of this initiative, a large amount of money has been invested in the transport infrastructure. Until 2020, the volume of these investments in Karek is estimated at nearly $39 billion, which is a fairly significant amount. The largest investment will be made in Kazakhstan's infrastructure due to its geographical factor and territory. We want all Central Asian countries to synchronize their transport strategies and policies so that they can successfully develop and provide passage of goods according to uniform standards.
Успешно развиваться и, конечно, прохождение товаров было по единым стандартам.
In the future, the Central Asian countries intend to harmonize laws and standards with international legal system, as well as switching to an electronic document management system and increase the speed of cargo passage. According to last year's result, the trade volume between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan grew by 38%. This is a direct result of the opening of new checkpoints on the border of the two countries and improvement of traffic corridors, experts said. Approximately 4 million tourists from all over the world visit Kyrgyzstan annually. Besides avid skiers, travelers inspired by the country's ethno and ecotourism also visit the country. The untouched corners of the nature of the Central Asian state are especially popular among Europeans, mainly from Germany. The largest tourist traffic to Kyrgyzstan is from Kazakhstan.
Если за 2016 год Кыргызстан посетило 3 миллиона 800 тысяч туристов, и это составляло 4,7%.
In 2016, 3.8 million tourists visited Kyrgyzstan and the GDP share was estimated at 4.7%. By the end of 2017, 4.5 million foreign tourists visited Kyrgyzstan and the share of GDP amounted to 5%. Most of them are Kazakhs, whereby the tourist number from Kazakhstan was recorded at 1.8 million. We appreciate it very much. The number of Kazakhs exceeded the number of Russians.
Туристов прибыло именно из Казахстана. И мы это очень высоко ценим, даже опередили показатели россиян.
Kazakh tourists visit mainly resort areas in Kyrgyzstan for relaxation and health-related purposes. According to the representatives of Kyrgyz Ministry of Culture, Information and Tourism, this stimulates tourism development and establishes cultural ties between the two countries.
У нас регулярно творческие коллективы и отдельные исполнители принимают участие.
Creative teams and individual performers regularly take part in our cultural events, and of course, you very often visit us. In the last World Nomad Games, we had an international ethno-cultural festival titled The Universe of Nomads. In 2019, we are going to spend cultural days on a reciprocal basis. It is gratifying to highlight that Kyrgyz have frequented their trips to Almaty. I think that in the future, cooperation in tourism will continue.
Возобновили свои поездки в город Алматы. Я думаю, что в перспективе сотрудничество в сфере туризма будет продолжаться.
Kyrgyzstan intends to improve the infrastructure to create favorable conditions for foreign visitors. New roads are actively being built in the republic, besides accommodations as well. Kazakhstan and Israel are actively developing bilateral cooperation in all areas. Both countries have established fruitful partnership in medicine. Kazakh doctors regularly undergo training in Israel's hospitals, as well as learn the latest achievements and work features of their colleagues.
Важно то, что с одной стороны те слушатели и стажеры, которые проходят эти курсы.
It is important that these interns who take the courses say that they directly gain practical knowledge and skills that are important in their daily work. In return, teachers say that students from Kazakhstan have a very high level of professional training.
Обучающие стороны, они говорят о том, что очень высокий уровень профессиональной подготовки слушателей и стажеров из Казахстана.
The Israeli ambulance service has tremendous experience in saving lives. As part of the first aid course, more than 20 Kazakh specialists have completed training. Among them are not only emergency room doctors, but also representatives of other specialties.
Мы группа врачей приехали из Астаны для прохождения программы
We are a group of doctors who came from Astana to undergo an emergency program for BLS, ASLS and PALS. These topics are very important for doctors because emergency care knowledge is a very hot topic. Knowledge of emergency care can save many lives.
Знания по неотложной помощи могут спасти жизнь многих людей.
המטרה הראשונה והגדולה זה להציל חיים.
We have one goal, which is to save lives. All that we have learned, we are ready to pass on to our colleagues from Kazakhstan. We are very pleased to see their enthusiasm to learn, and they are ready to acquire new knowledge. All of the participants received instructor certificates. In the future, they will be able to independently conduct training based on Israeli techniques in Kazakhstan. Kazakh universities will be evaluated using new criteria. The requirements will be enhanced to improve the quality of education. The employment rate of graduates will be the main assessment tool. The number of young individual entrepreneurs will also be taken into account. President Nursultan Nazarbayev suggested strengthening partnerships with the world's leading universities and the best foreign specialists to raise the profile of Kazakh universities.
Конкурентоспособность высокая у тех вузов, у которых учебная программа приближена к...
Highly competitive universities have curriculums that meet the realities of the market and the market demands. Accordingly, their graduates get employed faster and continue working longer than others. Graduates of the universities that brought their curriculums in line with the employers' requirements pursue careers in these professions.
Работодатели, они делают карьеру в этих по данным специальностям.
Prominent Polish figures Saint John Paul II and Władysław Bukowiński have a life credo of unstoppable desire for freedom and knowledge of the world. A unique photo exhibition dedicated to activities of the two extraordinary personalities was opened in Astana. At the exhibition, visitors are presented with their ideas and thoughts. The exposition also shows the visit of John Paul II to Kazakhstan 17 years ago. The visitors can also learn about the priest Władysław Bukowiński, nicknamed the Apostle of Kazakhstan. Professor of the Cardinal Wyszynski University in Warsaw analyzed the scientific accuracy of information presented at the exhibition.
W 2014 roku wspólnie z mężem i z grupą przyjaciół wybraliśmy się w podróż motocyklem.
In 2014, we had a trip from Poland to Kazakhstan by motorcycle. For 6 weeks, we traveled 26,000 kilometers. The goal is to repeat the path of John Paul II to Kazakhstan. We like people who live here. They immediately come to rescue. I say it was a lesson of friendship among nations. Therefore, we came up with an idea of organizing the exhibition in Kazakhstan. Now, the Poles are very interested in Kazakh culture.
Festiwal polskich filmów Wisła, on będzie prowadzić.
The Festival of Polish Films will be organized in Karagandi. It will also strengthen the cultural relations between our countries. I think it will be held once a year. Next year, we will try to organize it in Astana.
No, я думаю, что раз в год будет проходить. В следующем году постараемся, чтобы он проходил в Астане.
Turk Story is marking its 25th anniversary. In honor of the significant date, Istanbul hosted a grand concert of the International Orchestra of Folk Instruments. Leading musicians and famous soloists from 12 Turkic-speaking countries attended the event. "50 musicians performed folk works of famous composers of the Turksoy member countries. They won the love of Istanbul spectators. First of all, I express my gratitude to the Turksoy organization. This great concert has become one of the many cultural events in Istanbul. Turksoy have taken important measures to further strengthen ties between the Turkic people. I wish for further growth and development. People with similar languages, history and cultures should come together."
Çok güzel bir gece hazırlamışlar. Hepsine
The evening was wonderful. Many thanks to the organizers. I am proud that the Turkic people have such a rich culture. Japanese art connoisseurs can get acquainted with the music of the Turkic people. Anniversary concerts of the Turksoy International Orchestra of Folk Instruments will be organized in 4 islands of Japan.